Welcome back to Boys Love, episode 2 of 8th Sense.
Are you doing what's his name?
My Boo Boy character?
Yeah.
I do this Filipino baby character named Boo Boy.
Okay, but imagine he has the do you know that
baby
Snapchat?
filter on Snapchat.
Baby filter.
My favorite contestant of Boys Planet is my best friend Takuto.
The breathing.
My name's Boo Boy. Like and subscribe for more videos. Okay, that's enough of that.
That was a journey we all took together.
In classic Boys Love Studios fashion, we just ate an entire meal before recording. So
full of sodium, very puffy.
Full of MS Joie. Because TikTok is all over Chinese takeaway from the UK. I was like, Mama needs to get me some Mongolian beef tonight.
My orange chicken was fine. The chicken cuts were very big.
Yeah.
They were like flanks of chicken.
I know a place that has really good orange chicken.
Please don't do this. Do not be Kim Tae-young right now.
What is that place called?
No, I think the one RJ that you like is
Don't say this because it's not true. I don't like PF Chang's. I don't know why you keep building this narrative that I do when I don't.
Interesting.
Just go to Payway, girls. Don't go to PF Chang's. Go to your local Chinese place, girl.
RJ
anyway,
likes PF Chang's.
I do not like PF Chang's. How dare you?
Let's talk about the husband. Let's talk about the PF Chang's.
Let's talk about PF Chang's.
Did you
say let's talk about
PF Chang's?
No, you know what we really need to be talking about?
The 8 cents. Here's the thing, girls. Do you want to give your context that you learned, your little bio history that you just looked up on my drama list?
Because I was trying to look up, there was the whole thing about, the copyright striking of people doing edits of 8th Sense online. And the screenwriter-director, Mr. Werner, was like, please tell us if you've been struck, and then we will do our best to, unstrike you, because that was a third party, and we want to make sure, they're very, aware.
The WGA is not the only one striking. I hope that's prescient. I hope it's not the strike still.
Yeah,
I don't hope the strike is still going on. Let me be very clear before RJ edits this to make it sound like I'm anti-labor. And
that'll be the TikTok clip that I use.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to say.
Yeah.
This is his debut. This is his first screenwriting, directing. It said that he's been a script editor for a lot of K-drama, and then this is his first thing. But he he studied in Harvard. He did a little Norwegian, South African.
We start. If I'm every episode, I'm gonna say here's a trope.
I'm every episode. It's all in me.
If every episode I'm gonna talk about the tropes that we live and die for.
This is a trope. This is one of your Stations of the Cross.
This is one of my. Well, we're getting to an actual Station of the Cross later, but yes, this is one of them.
Yeah.
And this is falling asleep on someone's shoulder on specifically a bus.
On a bus.
Something about a bus. Now, this one will fall asleep on any moving transport.
Girl,
this is why he doesn't drive.
As soon as the vehicle starts moving.
Like Boo Boy, the baby.
Are we there yet?
That's how the episode started.
It started that we're in media res.
In media res, yes.
Is that... Have we decided that is
in
what
media res is in the middle of the action? Yes.
Mama?
Oh, action is coming.
Action's coming, don't worry.
It's not the only thing coming.
So you knew the skinship was happening in this episode, right? Or
I
no?
had seen GIFs of, and yes, I say
and yes,
GIFs.
we say this in this house.
In this household, we let it go and say GIFs. I had seen GIFs online of the shower scene. So I knew there was a shower scene.
You just didn't know where in the timeline.
I knew it was a show about
surfing.
Like surfing and being in bodysuits. Yeah. So it would like that aspect. I was like, I pieced that together. Mm-hmm. So when they like looked at the wetsuits, I was like, oh, it's okay. Okay. Because I had seen someone be like, no straight person is like, come closer to me in a public shower.
Okay, we cannot talk about that. We have to get there. We have to get there. Okay, anyway.
Okay, so falling asleep on the bus, huge heart flood.
Heart fluttering moment.
It's so good though.
Yeah.
This is, and I want to say there is a distinction between the person falling asleep on the shoulder on a bus, Station of the Cross, versus
we have to make these Stations of the Cross.
We are literally yeah, it's happening. I'm gonna number them. It's gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Versus the other falling asleep trope, which is someone falling asleep and the other person watching them sleep, which is honestly, I think like my number one thing that I love. I think that's my number one trope is like someone watching someone else sleep.
I'm sure it's going to happen here.
Because it's always like, first of all, no one looks real when they're sleeping, right? Nobody sleeps like how these people sleep on a TV show. Like perfect beat and also like perfect bangs, perfect hair.
How do you picture yourself sleep?
This is how I sleep in real life, guys. Don't be jealous.
And this is how Adam actually sleeps.
No, don't do this. Ew.
Cut that out.
Cut that.
So they get
to
the thing. Jihyun is
to the ocean.
Yes.
The ocean being
the
liminal space.
Yes. Now let me teach you girls about liminal spaces. The liminal space, you could say, is like the playground, the sandbox, you could say, where like things could happen in the story. Like
no, I'm just gonna like I'm take it away, please, by all means.
And you can continue.
It's the like where the worlds collide. It's where the action happens. It's like
because there are no rules. Like
the liminal
rules...
space is not like the diner down the street. The liminal space is always like the forest,
where
the wood, like just like magic can happen. That's the liminal space,
where it's like the rules and conventions of like what the social.
I think I'm describing this wrong. I think we're describing this wrong.
No, I think it's like the social rules that the characters live by are not present in this liminal space. So they're able to act more on their impulses and stuff to like develop the story.
Sure.
So like in Shakespeare, famously, his liminal space was the forest. So like Midsummer Night's Dream, when they're in the forest, like and it's dark, you don't know liminality. You don't know who's gonna end up with who.
I'm saying words. I'm not even saying
just
anything anymore.
Words.
Liminal. That's my favorite Pokemon.
하나, 둘, 셋. 안녕하세요. Liminal 입니다.
Sorry, Liminality should be a K-pop group, but it's L1. Minality. Yeah.
So we're now in the ocean.
We're at the surf club event.
Yes.
Okay.
And Jihyun is one of the 3 freshmen. The other 2 freshmen are girls.
Girly pops.
And they're very outgoing.
Yes.
And like they do this bit where they introduce themselves like, please take care of us, blah, blah, blah. And then Jihyun's like, hi, I'm Jihyun. Nice to meet you all. Is clearly fish out of water. Personality-wise, that like, it's funny that like no one's like, except for Eunji is the only one that's like, why the fuck is this kid here?
Yeah. Everyone
is kind of like, okay, sure, whatever.
Yeah, no one's like mad that no one's going out of their way to like engage with him except for Jaewon. In real life, like nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like, even if you're like, oh, I feel like awkward, people may like register that as being like, oh, that person's like a little awkward, but like,
no one is
just like yeah, that's very like written. It's very CW.
Yeah. Hey.
And we're not doing that here on this show today. But listen, if CW makes a BL, we'll watch it.
Boys love CW.
Boys love CW. And they're split into different dorms.
And they are not in the same dorm.
They're not in the same dorm as of this episode.
That's true. I don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what's going to happen. They haven't gone to bed yet in the episode.
That's true. It's still the same day.
It's still the same day.
Later that day.
Later the same day.
Yeah.
So Yoonwon is like, okay, I'm going to take Jiyoon and then Jaewon. You can take the two girls. And Jaewon's like, can you come here? Just 1 second.
It feels weird for me to like.
Also, the girls are so clearly interested in him.
Yes. Which, I mean, obviously.
Me too.
Who wouldn't be? Girl.
Me too.
Same. And she's like, no, it's not about that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't teach two people at the same time. You're more talented than I am. Which, like, why are you the president then if that's the thing? But.
Because she didn't have to go to military service. That's why.
So she's like, no, I want you to do it. You're just more experienced. And he's like, no, I just don't want it to be weird. I'll take care of the man.
There's no gender in surfing, which I thought that was a slay of a line.
Yeah.
But then she's like, okay, whatever. Girls, come with me. And then he turns around and was like, Jihoon, follow me. And we're off to the races. I mean, truly.
Full steam ahead, not stopping, tunnel vision.
Oh my
girl.
God.
And like, truly, these two, like, the world just stopped existing. It was just the two of them in this entire world together.
I want to talk about one thing before I get into like the actual like sexual tension between them, because it is potent. Potables. Jaewon asks Jiyoon like, why are you doing this, basically? Like, what? You can't swim. You clearly don't want to be here. Like, what are you and he like is like, oh, you do just become friends with me or whatever?
Yeah.
And Jiyoon's like, no. Somebody did it all. And then
okay,
what I really like is this whole thing, if we're coming back to this theme for Jiyoon's character of like, I'm trying to explore the world. Mm-hmm. He says that he's trying to not be scared of the world. So he's like facing like things that would make him be uncomfortable and trying to like grow in that way.
Yeah.
Which like, I feel like that's what you do in college. I
didn't
do
for
that.
sure. You didn't do
other
that.
People
you,
do that.
You definitely like.
No, I developed fears in college.
You did.
I developed a fear of elevators. It's because one time I was in that elevator alone on a weekend, and it like shook and dropped a little bit, and then the doors opened, and the door.
It's like halfway.
It was like halfway, and I had to crawl out of it. And people were like, "Why are you so scared of elevators?" Because what the fuck? What is this, Devil by M. Night Shyamalan?
Because obviously, like, there is the attraction, but what is
the show is like about something.
Yes,
which is like cool. That's how you know it's like actually good.
Yes,
that it's not.
It's not just what's face value. It's what.
Not Bedfriend.
And listen, we still ate.
I watched every episode.
We ate that
the day it came out.
We ate that cake up in our cat ears, girl.
It's just some shows are like fluff because they're like the plot is they're gonna get together, and then some shows are like it's a character study or it's like about another thing.
Which is I love complex characters. I love a character study. That sometimes when the action is just like, will they decide to go to this party? But it's like a full exploration of all the like things because it feels like life or death to them, and I think like. I don't know, like, I get it a little bit more from Jaewon. I think Jihyun is still, to me, like, more of a blank slate, that he is just, like, I'm going to take experiences and learn from them. Jaewon is in a place of, like, I don't know what I want to do. Like,
do you know who Jihyun reminds me of, the character? Jihyun reminds me of Seven's character in Kissable Lips. Of just, like, a young, impressionable. Like...
Ingénue.
And big ingenue energy. Yeah. Big Lori in Oklahoma.
Oh, the Lori of it all.
Big, what is her? I never remember her name in Carousel.
You're a queer one. Julie Jordan.
Julie. Okay.
Let's put on these damn suits, girl.
So they pick these wetsuits out, and then they have to put them on. First of all, I don't know how it is now, right? I'm not growing up currently. When I was growing up, I had like there's like a locker room.
Oh yeah, girl, I went to an all-boys school.
But I'm trying not to say like it is a fetish. there is a locker room fetish. I don't necessarily have that fetish per se, but like just the vibe of a locker room, because I was always so uncomfortable because I knew like
yes,
what you could see in a locker room. Yeah. So like they like walked in, and I immediately like my body was like, oh.
Yeah, just got uncomfortable.
Yes.
Well, so in the first part, because the shower happens after surfing.
Yes.
So this is just putting on the suit.
This is just putting on the suit,
and
girl.
he is already
changing.
just like sitting and like already in his underwear, just like ready to like wear the suit, and having to be like,
It's
this
crazy.
is how you put on the suit,
Right, which like, okay. Yeah, but okay, fine. Because like this is the other thing I thought about too, is like he wouldn't have done that with the girls.
That's true. You'd be like, all right, try it. Good luck. Listen, anyway.
We're happy the way it happened.
Yeah.
So he like kneels in front of him to help him like put his feet in.
He put like plastic bags in his feet so it slides easily.
Yes.
So that way he can, and then take them off.
Yes.
Adam,
I had to pause this scene
Adam
like
paused
4 times.
this episode. Adam was pausing the entire time because
I had to like keep breathing.
He needed to pause and then just like breathe normally
and look
again
out the window
because he was holding his breath so much.
Yes.
When these scenes were happening.
Yeah.
The cinematography.
So genuinely so good. It's
and the camera shots of just like it's so close, so you do feel like, what does it feel as Ji-hyun with Jaewon literally right here helping me put the suit on?
They do this thing that I love in the show. I've noticed it now a couple times where the one character will be talking, but they'll zoom in on the other character's reaction to whatever's going on, and it's like that's how you can tell this is like such like a character development.
Yes,
type show.
because you're watching, a character receive information and like seeing how they react to it. Because you know why? Acting is reacting.
Oh, it's listening.
Acting is listening and reacting.
Somebody didn't go to drama school.
Yeah, neither of us.
Neither of us. We went to a liberal arts college. So we go to the ocean. First, we don't go to the ocean. First, we lay on the beach
to learn how to lay on the board. And he was like,
straddling him.
Not on your back, dummy, on your stomach. And then he gets on top of him. And
essentially, I mean, like there's a large space between,
but there,
like,
but that's the thing. Here's the thing why it's so good, is because for a normal, just a bystander walking by,
there's tons of plausible deniability,
right? You look at that from far away. I know.
That is the gay experience. Is also like keeping that like facade of like if anybody looks over, like it's still
we're just I mean, girls, that's how I hate
half
to say
of you
it.
Still don't think we're married. You think we're just roommates.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like that is the gay experience. I mean, like think about cruising. Like
hello,
that's literally
not
what
we're
it
talking
is.
about. But yes,
not that but like thinking about like that's how. It was.
Yes.
You have to keep up the appearances.
Yeah.
This show's so good.
Because if he had been with the girls, he would have had 2, so he wouldn't have straddled either of them. But he wouldn't, even if he had 1 girl, he wouldn't have straddled her. He would have stood to the side.
And like pointing.
You can
and
still do the same exact function that he was doing and not straddle the person. But there's like the deliberate choice you make of like, I'm gonna walk up to the edge of the line. I'm gonna move. That's queer narrative.
That's queer narratives. It's truly like you just see, you keep dipping your toes in the water to see how people react. Because I mean, but also it happens all the time in Korean BLs too. Of like they'll say something like, like I could get really used to looking at your face and like seeing how they react.
Because that is like because in society you like assume straight until proven gay, and we are here to change that. We're here to assume gay until proven straight. But
we went through Boys Planet. We had to.
But like you assume straight until proven gay. So like as a gay person, if you're like interested, you like drop the hints.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you also watch The Golden Girls? Like little things, you know what I'm saying?
That's when I tell you I do this like at any setting, and
literally anytime I meet a man.
anytime we meet a man, we listen for
Unless it's very obvious.
Unless it's very obvious.
Either way.
There are subtle hints that we will drop to see if they catch references.
Oh, yes.
If they, like, their lingo.
Yep.
And then immediately discuss afterwards of, like, I mean, with social media, it's a little easier because you can obviously
the
see,
conversations that RJ and I have had leaving a function. Whew! That should be a podcast.
Yeah, I know one specifically.
Girl.
That one.
And that one I was like, and he was like, no, allegedly not. And I was like, there's one.
So, like, that generational.
Sure, you got to get married to a woman because you had to.
No, Mame, the guy who wrote The Adventures of Aunt Mame or whatever.
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Aunt Mame, yeah.
Famously, like, a famous bisexual queer person, but, like, I have a wife and kids.
Yeah.
That's just
Well, I also think, like, obviously sexuality is a spectrum, and like there are very few. There's the Kinsey scale. Look it up. I'm not here to do that today, but like I still think like even gay people could fall. I think you can fall in love with like someone you're not necessarily sexually attracted to, especially if you like gel as like people on a real like. There's like a very specific wavelength, but it's very. This is the other trope that I said is in this episode is the teaching of a skill to another person, which is like unintentional love story
teaching pottery.
Yes.
As an excuse to like be close and intimate to help each other.
Yes.
That's teaching of this guy. We have to keep track of the Stations of the Cross.
The teaching of the skill.
Yeah.
This is over, right? They're done. Somebody does walk by.
It's Unji.
Yes, and gives them the stankiest look. And honestly,
I know we're gonna end up hating this girl.
I know, because I saw people when the show was like running.
Yes,
I saw people being like, "She's sucks."
The worst.
And yeah.
Obviously, yes. That's
but also,
the point.
Like, I kind of love a hater. You know what I mean? Like she's so
hateful in that she's like, I don't like the freshmen.
Baby, she's in this dancery. She's the hateration and the holleration. She's all of it. She's so mad. And there's genuinely, at this point in the show, there is literally no reason to dislike Ji-hyun.
No.
Again, we've talked about it. He's a little weird. He's a little awkward.
But like, no harm, no foul, does nothing to anyone.
Him.
But she hates him.
Hated him from the first moment she saw him.
When he wasn't even involved with Jaewon at all. Like him in the meeting, in the room, just like, hi, how do I sign up?
Yes.
And she's just like,
stank. 안녕하세요.
Yeah.
But also like, slay. Work.
I mean, it's classic, like, you are only, the antagonist, who is also another love interest, is only intimidated by the person who is actually putting what they're trying to go for at risk. That's why she's not worried about the other two freshman girls. She's like, I know.
But my thing is, like, I still don't think it's, like, okay.
It's not, it's definitely, like, they just like defaulted to her. But there's no.
I don't think she's, like, they're having a relation. I don't think they're not even having a relationship. They're not even doing anything yet. Yeah. So obviously it's not that. Is it literally just that like he's taking Jaewon's attention and that's what she wants? She wants that ATTENTI on attention is what she wants? Is that what she's looking for?
She wants a Coke Zero. Coca-Cola Machita. Ever since he's come back, he has shown no interest in me or like what his world used to be, and he is fully like not even paying attention to.
But also, like, she maybe cheated. We still don't know the full
what the full. And I mean, and she has been in the scene. They like have a fight. She's like, that never happened. I don't know why you don't believe that.
It's a miscommunication or something like that. I'm not a great ex. My exes will tell you I'm not a great ex because I am the one who'll be like, why can't it just work out? Unhinged. I wouldn't do that now.
Yet.
Stupid. So then they finish in the ocean.
And they eat.
They eat ramyun. Yeah. That's where also another scene where she's like,
I don't like her. They have ramyun. allegedly just coming out of the water. No one looks like that after being drenched.
Oh yeah,
in
he
the
was
water.
like soaked, and then all of a sudden they're out of the water, and he's like, "My hair's a little damp." Okay, girl. It was the first time that I was like, they're truly going for realism on the show, and I applaud them for doing so. But this was the one where I was like, but at the end of the day, you still gotta make these people look pretty.
You gotta tune in somehow. And then this is when they're like, okay, let's go let's shower. And he's like, what do you mean?
And I said, what do you mean?
And I said, what do you mean? And Jaewon was like, well, we have to return the suits, so we'll just have to shower here. Here we go. And
there is nothing heterosexual going on in this scene. Literally whatsoever. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. None. Nada.
This is again, literally the exact same thing, but like it's just a little bit more push. Because the way he was just like, don't be shy, come here. Don't be shy.
But like the way you still have to play it off and be like, oh, we're just two guys.
We're just
Just palling
there's
around.
There's nothing to be shy about. You can come closer.
We're just two guys.
Just come here. Shower right here.
And then like makes the jokes about being like, what are you gonna do when you're in the army? Gotta do it then, so might as well do it now.
And then just stares.
I couldn't tell. Do they have?
I don't think
are they? I think they just had them half pulled down.
I think they were half pulled down. Yeah.
We know Jiyeon is not naked because he walks into the frame.
We don't know if Jaewon is naked.
I would. That seems like a step too far. You can't be like fully nude and then be like,
but
come closer to me.
I know, but this is also a country that has like public bathhouses.
Oh, that's true. That is not something I thought about when I was watching this.
So I think he was fully naked.
Oh my god.
I think they.
No, I don't.
Adam.
Don't.
I think they.
Stop.
Adam. I think Jaewon was naked.
No.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This scene is not. I almost can't even talk about this scene. This scene is so crazy. I literally. It's maybe. The scene itself is 2.5 minutes, maybe. Like it's not a long scene,
and it
really.
lasted forever.
And it was 10 minutes long because I kept having to pause and breathe because I was like, either I'm going to have an asthma attack, or I'm going to jump out the window. One of the two is going to happen if this plays straight through. It was not going well for me.
Every time
I watch KBLs because they're nice and sweet. Like, I watched Bedfriend. Bedfriend was wild. Bedfriend was, like, minutes away from penetration. That was a show in which I was like, this is NC-17, practically.
Yeah.
Like, there were things in there that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But that I could handle because, like,
you knew.
The Thai BLs give that energy of, like, a little, like, K-dramas even, like, just K-media, like, really tries to be, like, very squeaky clean and wholesome.
The
mass-produced one. So when this scene happened, I truly was like, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Yay, Pepto-Bismol. Like, all of it. What the fuck? And it was great. And it's, like, so well done.
It's so well done because it, like you said, it is just enough.
Guys, I can't tell you how real this is for the gay experience.
So real.
It's
so real.
And it's not hot. It is hot in theory.
Yes.
But also in the moment, there's like that fear of there's like the titillating fear of being caught, but also like the genuine fear of being caught.
Which is just like inherently being gay for
my God.
years.
It was wild watching this. I couldn't. This was wild.
Every time he looked at him, because he couldn't.
Why did he keep looking down? Stop looking down. I literally would have been like, sir, what are you looking at? My eyes are up here. Okay,
it's true because you can tell this is cruising.
It's definitely like the closest thing I've ever seen outside of like
being cruised.
Say that
outside of yeah.
Wow. Okay, we have to move on. They go have like team dinner, and it's very cute.
Yes, and Jihyun keeps wanting to help Jaewon. I work in a fucking pork belly place.
Yeah.
Let me cook. and it's just like they.
And Eunji is not thrilled.
Which is okay. It's funny. If you were not Eunji, would you have noticed like, oh yeah, they're attached to the hip?
I was wondering that too. Actually, watching
because I kept
this.
being like, he is being very. Jian was being very obvious, but also because he's. But it's like, oh, freshman and senior. Like he's just being.
And like he's the vice, like he's the VP. They're trying to welcome them. So like, again, there's that plausible deniability of being like, it's fine because it's understandable. Like you can create a storyline in your head when you're watching something that like doesn't necessarily feel right, but then you can justify it to yourself.
Yeah. Like you could come out of this, like if this was like a 1 day thing, the next day, if someone were to if I was in that surf club and someone tell me like, oh yeah, Jian and Jaewon are together, I would have been like, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess
that makes sense.
I guess it makes sense, like seeing it, but like I didn't come
in the
off
moment,
of it being
I was not like, yeah. Oh my God, girls, help!
I'm pissed.
So they have dinner and they play.
They do the games. They do these drinking games. Everyone's drinking. When alcohol is involved, Dionysus.
It's drinking again. That's going to be, I mean.
It's just part of the culture.
The whole thing. Okay, so shows do it one of two ways. They will either have everyone else gets drunk except the main characters, which that's very Cherry Magic energy. Or there's one of the characters gets drunk, which is like the unintentional love story, the all my liquors, the like blah, 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 blah. One of those where like one of them gets drunk and the other one doesn't. And it's never that both of them get drunk.
Yeah.
That can never happen.
It's always, and then whoever gets drunk, it's the first time they're like fully like all inhibitions are gone.
Roommates of Pungdak.
Roommates of Pungdak, where he's like, why do I hate you, but I can't stop like thinking about you.
Yes. Which they both did that on that
both
show.
That's true. They each
But they each again they were there one of them was like sober when the other one was drunk. Anyway.
So anyway, they're playing this game and they're like, "Oh, let's play the I like game." And so they were like,
so they play the game and Jaewon's like, "I like you, Jihyun," which is the point of the game. That's the rules of the game. He's not saying anything that has not been said by other people in the same 3-minute game. And Jihyun can't...
Like Adam, Jihyun freezes.
Oh, no, because I mean, like, in the moment I was like, girl, you can't be this obvious. But also, like, there's no way. I would have giggled. I would have started giggling. I would have been like, really?
And then drowned yourself in the water.
And then I would have walked into the water and never come out.
With stones in my pockets.
Yes, with stones in my pockets. Go watch The Hours, guys. Go watch it. Meryl Streep plays a lesbian.
Allison Janney is her wife. Come on, gays.
We did that. I had nothing to do with that.
There's a lovely campfire scene.
But what happens when they lose? Because he doesn't respond. So if you get rejected, the person who gets rejected has to drink. But what if the other person doesn't respond, RJ?
I completely forgot. Then they have to do a couple drink.
The love shot.
And
they like Ungi sexy.
Ungi sexy, yeah.
And so they do the like basically how at a wedding.
At a wedding.
This is crazy. And this country is still homophobic. America, explain. South Korea, explain.
I mean, that's the thing. It is a crazy... It's just... There is a sense of, like, masculinity there is more affectionate. Like, on a basic level. Like, they just feel more affectionate toward each other because it's more, like, brotherly in that way. So it's, like, more fraternal.
Yes. That's correct. Yes.
So it's leaning more towards that, which I think, like... It's just very interesting because then if it's like, it's so no homo, like very early 2000s. It's very no homo,
but also I would say in this moment I didn't feel the like, not gay panic necessarily, but like the joke is LOL, it's two guys having to do the couple shot.
Yes.
Fine.
But
also like that is literally culture. I don't know. I mean like, it is what it is. Yeah. I don't know what to say. We've all lived through it. So... I really like the naturalism in the scene. I think it's really I think the way the dialogue is spaced and the way they're like kind of talking over each other and like clipping the ends of sentences, it's just like really, this is like really well done.
To me, Yunwan is so good at it. It's like she's not acting.
There is no reason that she sings that song and it should work. But it like, I was like, of course.
Yeah.
Of course this makes sense. It turned into a Thai BL where somebody's sang with a guitar.
But like it just works because it's so like you are swept up in this like
camaraderie and the like
euphoria,
and there is that like feeling of like when you go to like a group thing, there's like a little bit of it like if you do theater and it's like that, it's like the cast party energy,
you have to
or
let
just like
go and just like
there's like we only have this night to like whatever. You just start to feel like a little. It starts to feel like a Midsummer Night's Dream where you're like,
oh my god, please. If the creators of the show would love to talk to us about
I will do
this
it.
show,
Please.
And just like for us to be like, we're getting so much Midsummer Night's Dream vibes from this episode.
I mean, last episode you said it was Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, like there's it's so Shakespearean.
The tragedy.
I just want to talk about that.
Ji-hyun goes to the beach and like calls Junpyo, and it's like again, I really like this friendship that they have of like he is annoyed by him, but also is like. I don't know anyone right now, so I need someone to talk to that's normal. It's very sweet.
Eunji.
Miss Eunji is waiting for Jaewon.
Because she's just like, let's talk this out, girl.
Oh my god.
I'm pissed. It's so...
Here's the thing, though. Like, would you accept no from an answer from a man? It looks like that. Yes, because you always accept no for an answer. But
yes.
Also, like, I understand the idea of being like, please, let's just work it out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I understand.
Especially if she feels like, I don't know what we don't know what happened.
We don't know what happened, but she feels like
I did not cheat on you, and you've been told differently.
Yes, yeah.
And I want to make that right. She's very like, what's her name in exchange?
Haeun.
No. The ones who he had gone to the military service, and then he had heard later that she went on like a date with another guy.
The one who,
Yes, the ones who sat. Wonbin,
yes.
Wonbin, and I don't remember her name.
I don't either. I do wish that Jaewon could be he is being straightforward and being like, I just don't want anything to do anymore.
I don't have any more I don't have any feelings.
I don't have any feelings for you, good or bad. But
that also goes back to his whole thing of being like, I came out of the military and I feel like a different person.
Yes.
I feel like I'm different than. I feel like I'm older. I feel like I don't want to be around these like people who are like so young anymore. I use that term kind of loosely, but
just like aimless as he's trying to figure out what he wants to do, because that's the thing. We still don't know what's going on with his family, but you can tell that there is like a huge burden over him. There's something going on that he can't wrap his brain around yet. That like her and Taehyung, the friend, are like literally the last thing that I think
they just remind him of like his past self, and I think that's what he doesn't want at the moment.
And I think that's what she's like, how could you just throw all of that away?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the worst part. The worst part of a breakup, let me tell you. The worst part of a breakup is like the loss of the familiarity of like you have an established shorthand with someone, and the idea of losing all of that true effort
makes it feel like, well, was that all for naught?
Was it did I waste my time? Which is so, there's only a finite amount of time we have on Earth, so it's feels insane to be like, did I waste it? So let's try to make it work instead of like having to start all over again with something else. I understand.
That is fully understandable.
It's the worst part.
The hardest part for people to accept is that like there is no such thing as wasted time,
and there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Fucking capitalist. Oh my god. There's no such thing as like wasted time. So like,
right. Everything is in service of you.
That relationship, that life that he had happened, and it was great for when that happened.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And like being able to be like, and that's it. Like it's done.
Yeah.
And that's
the
okay.
hardest part to
and that's
accept.
really hard. And that's the thing. For Jaewon, it's not about the relationship. It's about like a full life lived. For Eunji, she probably feels that it's like you are giving all of that away over a miscommunication.
Over a misunderstanding. Yeah.
And it's like, no. There's just like they're not in the same maturity levels.
It's also just like why I hate people who have fights on trips. Like, girl, I went to like Disney World for choir in high school 2 times. And the way there would always be once a trip, at least one couple that had like a big blow up fight during it. I worked at Disney World and all you would see is like teenagers like fighting. It's a recipe for disaster, guys.
So, yeah.
And then Jiyeon's like,
just gonna play my little seraphim over here.
what do you think Jiyeon listens to? I think he listens to ballads. I hate to tell you.
I think he listens to ballads because it's the country boy. He listens to straight up ballads that like his parents and aunties and uncles love to sing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's listening to IU. Oh, big IU.
Oh, big IU fan.
Big
Girl,
IU.
same.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jaewon comes over because
they have a fight. He realizes that like Jiyeon may have been
could have been listening.
Could have been listening. So he just like leaves the conversation with Eunji. Doesn't even like end it. Just fully just starts walking away.
She's pissed.
And she's just like, I can't get a word in. You did, girl. He just doesn't. That's the thing. That's the hardest part. Is that it always feels like she isn't able to say anything. But it's like, whatever you say,
there's nothing you can
say that will make him
over.
Listen. It's done.
It's the worst.
It is the worst part to watch in any BL specifically, but like in any kind of media, because I think for us too, like just being older, it's just like
you're so sage, RJ. You're so
thank
wise.
You. But that's the thing. Like I mean, I still feel that way. Like I feel like no, I'm just like not articulating it correctly. I'm like no, it's just not.
There's a perfect way I can say this, and then it'll all make sense. And unfortunately,
no.
It only works if the other person wants to hear.
Yeah. That's the thing,
and
girlies.
That's the thing.
Girlies,
you can't control the other person wanting to hear
Listen to your
what
gay
you have
uncles,
to say.
okay?
Listen to your aunties.
Listen to your aunties. If the person doesn't want to hear it, there is nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can say. And you can never control if they want to hear you or not.
Yeah. Wow.
Take that.
Put
that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay, so he comes over to Jihyun and is like, so you're eavesdropping now? LOL.
Again,
but also still like jokey energy. Not like actually mad or anything.
But still like in that way of like testing the waters of like, oh, you're interested in like what's happening.
Sure. This episode ends with a huge one of the tenets of KBLs.
Another Station of the Cross?
Another Station of the Cross.
What shall we name her?
The naming of the Hyung.
The calling of the Hyung.
The calling of the Hyung. Now, I will say this is not as like there is one true iconic calling of the Hyung, and that is Semantic Error. Semantic Error probably will always and forever have the absolute best scene.
Because it's a power shift.
We also just don't. We have no word.
There is nothing.
There is nothing in English like
this.
There's nothing. There's literally nothing like this in English
that has the same.
And
weight.
the fact that it has, there's always like a reaction. I can only imagine what it feels like. I'm an English speaker watching the show and being like,
feel the tension.
Whoa! And then I literally would do a Semantic Error episode. Or obviously season or whatever, just because I have to have a whole episode dedicated to the cliffhanger of him calling him young. The regular K-dramas, it's always that the girl calls the guy oppa. But that is never given this weight. There's a weight, weight given to it, but I think
okay, back to the gay experience. I think it's because there is like
it's a double meaning.
It's a double fucking meaning. And but in Hyung, it's a double meaning at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As inherent in being homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like...
Whew! I'm hot.
And then after that happens, Jaewon pulls him closer.
For what? But what do we... But I
And
didn't
then
like... Okay, I didn't like this.
I didn't like... The cliffhanger was a little forced.
Yeah.
Because it literally stops as soon as he's pulled.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out in the next episode.
We haven't watched it yet. We're doing very good. It's very hard. That one, for sure, I was like, we have to turn this off right now because if I see 1 second into this episode, I'm going to watch episode 3. I'm going to keep watching the rest.
It's so funny because one of my good friends at work, she's a huge BL fan, and she said that Eighth Sense is like one of her favorites of all time.
Wow.
She is like, I cannot believe that you are not binging it because I would not be able to stop myself.
I know.
And I'm like, it's very hard.
It's very hard.
But we do it for you.
We do it for you, babes.
And that's it. That's episode 2.
That's it. What they're setting up is that something happens on the trip, but then Jaewon, like, maybe, like, they go back and Jaewon tries to pretend like nothing happened.
Is like cold to it, yeah.
That's my guess.
I mean, that's the consequences of a liminal space. You do something, but once you're taken out, you're immediately back into the rules of where you are, where you live, and then you like either and that's the like dramatic tension. What do you do with that choice? Do you stay in that old world, or do you push the boundaries and go into that new world? Okay, so we have our action items. If we want to write that down, formalize the Stations of the Cross of BLs.
Yeah.
Meet Mr. Werner and talk about the Shakespearean allegories in the script, and rewatch the shower scene.
No, I can't do that. We'll see you next week.